have grown stronger.
Oh, come on.
I've only let go of my fear.
We shall see.
Growing stronger. Growing stronger. Using a freaking Obi-Wan line as if they fought before. Just stop. Just stop. Oh, come. Screw you. Screw you. Trying to give mother effing black woman freaking upper hand on Darth Vader. Screw you. Yeah, I know. You're so tired. You're so tired. Of course he comes back. What a joke. 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 Make it stop. Make it stop. Yes, Darth Vader's awesome. Everything else in this game isn't. Oh, stop! The fact that, oh my god, the fact that she keeps getting one-ups! That was so retarded. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! What? This is a humiliation ritual for Darth Vader. What is it? You would never struggle like that. It would never cut that close. What? But they're both dead? What? No. Stop it. Stop. This is so bad. Stop it. Stop. This is so bad. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Female rider. Remind yourself. Female rider. Female rider. What a joke. They want you to feel sorry for Deborah. They want you to believe that Deborah is equal in power level to Darth Vader. She just got unlucky. Screw you. The fact that she ever got any kind of upper hand on Darth Vader. The fact that it was ever close to begin with. Joke. Whatever. Don't be sad. I'm freaking glad. Stop it. This is a joke. This is a humiliation ritual for me as the player, for Darth Vader as a character, for all the male characters for just existing. I hate this. So we are at the end of 2024, and for the worst games of 2024, I have no idea exactly where to start, where to begin, which game's the worst, which game's not, don't really freaking know, but we're gonna go into it. And for this video, we're gonna go a little bit similar as we went about the best games of 2024. So what happened with the previous video, the best games, is that we spoke about the games that I played. And really, there were almost no good games to talk about for 2024. But now, we're going to be talking about the worst games of 2024, which is a very exhaustive list. Now, I will make a few special mentions of the games that I have played throughout 2024 that also will be incorporated to this video because, and I guess I'll just throw them at the front here, all right? So I played games like Starfield in 2024, one of the worst games to play ever. I played through it. It was absolute dog trash. I just can't even believe it was ever made. It's boring. It's not fun. A bunch of people, they shilled out for it like mad crazy. I don't know what that was about. I don't know why they shilled out for it, but I'm realizing a lot of games have a lot of shills. There's a lot of shills out there who will literally just get behind any game and say it's good when it's not even that good. They will overblow and exaggerate the value of a game when that game really is not as good as people say it is. It provides no value. It's not fun. Again, we got so many games like this. We got Starfield, games like Baldur's Gate 3. Bunch of people shell out for that. It's really not that fun of a game. It's not that great. It doesn't have a story. The story is dog trash, and people over exaggerate its value and say it's really fun, really great, whatever, man. There's a bunch of other games like it, and people are not jerking those games off. So it just shows to you that psyops are absolutely real. I mean, you don't need any evidence on that one anymore, but anyways, it just shows to you that a lot of these games are psyops. I mean, we just had Astrobot win Game of the Year. Go look at previous years and Game of the Years for all those years. You can go as far back as like 2012. It made sense once upon a time. Now we got games like It Takes Two, and that got Game of the Year for 2021. Yeah, listen, man, the gaming industry is now a bunch of psyops. It's a bunch of games being told to us, oh, this is the best thing ever. It's like, no, these are average or above average games. Some of them should absolutely succeed, but it's like, we're saying this is Game of the Year? Like, bro, the gaming industry has been screwed down the freaking river so hard that now we're saying that these games that are terrible, average, or above average, we're saying that this is Game of the Year. Understand this, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. People are saying that it's Game of the Year for 2024. Again, you don't believe that shills exist? You don't believe that these freaking bots exist, human or non-human? Then again, you need to get checked. It's just that simple, man. So many people are freaking retarded at this point, and then they're offended when you're not shilling out their game. I don't know what's wrong with these people. They're freaking clowns, freaking retards. Anyways, that's just a couple of games. Let's get into the video. Now, before we actually get into me going through the entirety of all the games that were absolutely the worst of the worst this year, I'm gonna go down a short list here, all right? I'm gonna go with you about some of the other games I played this year that I don't even remember if they came out 2024, so whatever. But Persona 5 Tactica, basically written by frickin' soy boy Starbucks barista, college lesbian male, all right? Persona 5 Tactica had a terrible story, had a girl boss show up out of nowhere, helps out your main character Joker randomly, has this multiverse bullcrap, has a main villain that's basically a copy, but a female version off of the gym teacher persona from, archetype, from Persona 5, the actual game. This chick is basically the villain character. She is a rewash, and again, this random girl boss character that is, again, she's just a female copy of Joker, but she speaks and she's a girl boss. Anyways, I have nothing else to say about Persona 5 Tactica. Screw that game. I hated it. I hated the writing. Dude, I was freaking dying as I was playing that game. Screw that trash. I will also just mention Dune Spice Wars. I did not enjoy that. It's one of the few multiplayer strategy games that I cannot enjoy to save my life. I hated the game. I could not understand the game. There's so many strategy games I can make sense of and play. Dune Spice Wars just does not make sense. And every retard and his freaking retarded brother's gonna be like, well, it takes a PhD to understand Dune Spice Wars. No, the game just has stupid mechanics, makes no sense. I get it. You want to think that your favorite crappy game makes you have a PhD. You're a freaking retard. Get used to it. Then we have Remnant 2, one of the worst games I played this year, 2024. Holy freaking crap. And then all the DLCs that came out for it. Dog trash writing, freaking Asian chick is the girl that's the key to everything. She literally has a Jesus moment at the end of the game. It's so nihilistic the way the game ends. She sacrifices herself randomly, basically out of her womb. She has a light baby, and then the whole universe restarts, and everything you did meant nothing. And we just reset civilization. Again, this is nihilistic horse crap where nothing means anything. Life and civilization is on a cycle, and that what you do and who you are is not significant. You're just a part of the cycle, and you suck, and everything that you died and fighted for, whatever, it was all for nothing, or it was just all done so that it could be done again. I understand this mindset, but this is in a lot of stuff nowadays, and it is absolute nihilistic horse crap. You know, we also have Lords of the Fallen, which is a game that I wanted to like and I wanted to finish, but I just could not do it, bro. It is one of the games that broke me on Souls-likes, and it's been happening for a while now. But now I cannot stand Souls-like games. And Lords of the Fallen, it broke me. I was playing it and I was like, I'm done. I cannot take this. I'm fed up with it. Souls-likes, they're just masochist simulators. There was a point in time where they were fun, they were challenging. Nowadays, it's just, oh, hi there. Do you want to be spending 5 hours of your life on a boss for no good reason because we underleveled you intentionally by this point in the game? Well, get ready to have fun fighting that boss for 5 hours of your life before you go through the rest of the game where we've put a bunch of filler into it and it's going to take forever to finish the game. You're going to be bashing your head against a wall. Have fun. Yeah, listen, man, I quit Souls-likes after Lords of the Fallen, and there was one exception I made, and well, guess what? That one exception, we're going to talk about it later. It came out this year. It's the Elden Ring DLC. Could not freaking stand it. I was like, I'm done. I'm done with Souls-likes. I really am. The way that they're designed is no longer fun. It's only made to waste your time, and I'm done. I don't want to have my time wasted whatsoever freaking ever. We also had Like a Dragon Ishin, which was remastered for this year. I played a little bit of it and I hated. There's this one masculine female character. She smokes a cigarette like a man. She has the persona of a man. She's supposed to basically be a dude. I did not like the story either. I did not like the way that they treated men in the story, where men are just pieces of trash and it's never women that are pieces of trash. It's always men. So, you know, we have to make them all, you know, they're also these cartoonish villains as well. So they're these bad guys that we're just forcing the idea of how evil and bad that these dudes are. Yeah, I'm no fan of it. I don't like it. It had a trash story. It was egalitarianism as well. A lot of the points that they're driving home was egalitarianism. I hate egalitarianism. It's absolute filth, dog crap. It is the source of all liberalism. It is what decays civilization. It is what pushes multiculturalism. It is what pushes feminism. These things, by the way, what is egalitarianism, liberalism? At its core, demoralization for your civilization. You must accept the foreigner as a fellow citizen. That being a citizen of a country is not as deep as your blood, deep as your race, deep as your nationality. No, it's whether or not someone wants to be in your country. If they're willing to work 40 hours a week in your economy, that makes them a citizen. That is not what being a citizen in a country is. And anyways, it never even comes down to that. You bring in a bunch of people who make use out of your country through taxpayer dollars. Screw you and screw your egalitarianism. And again, women are not equal to men. Enough of this horse crap. It is only done to demoralize men and at some point women, but that's, you know, somewhere later down the road, like with women getting destroyed by the brave and equal men in women's sports. Oh, I thought women were equal to men. Why is it that every time men compete against women, women lose? Because it's all made up horse crap. So anyways, screw Like a Dragon Ishin. It's why I love not Like a Dragon. I love Yakuza 0. It got me turned on to the franchise, but then they just have dog trash writing for the rest of the series. I don't like the writing for the rest of the series. The guy that worked on Yakuza 0, it's one of the best stories in gaming. One of the best. It's about brotherhood. It's about relationships, masculine relationships, men and their duty, men and their responsibility. It is a proper story. Now everything's just gay. It's about friendship and, oh, you know, we're all holding hands. I already have spoken at great length about this before. I'm not going to do it here right now. Anyway, screw Like a Dragon Ishin. And of course, by the way, we have Like a Dragon Gaiden, which is, it's the man who erased his name. That's an added, suffix to the game's name. So anyways, I played that game too. I did not like the story. It was following Kiryu. I honestly, I forget certain elements of it. I think it's a prequel to Like a Dragon. The one with Ishiban, I forget what it's called now. I don't even care. I played the game. I finished the game. I don't even care. Anyways, Yeah, it was a prequel. I didn't really enjoy the story. I didn't enjoy the way that they approached the characters. I was not a fan. So, anyways, but by the way, Project Century is a new Yakuza game, and it looks like maybe the same dude that worked on Yakuza 0, or maybe they're going for the same edge of Yakuza 0. That gives me a little bit of hope, because we got a dude that's just masculine there. We got a dude, he just seems like a rogue, kind of renegade archetype. I'm looking forward to that game, because it looks like they're gonna go, now maybe it's a bait and switch, we will see. But they're giving me hope for Project Century. We don't have a name for it yet, but I really do look forward to that Yakuza game. I don't know what the name's going to be. I just hope that we have a good writer for it. I want a proper masculine storyline, none of this freaking dog crap that we've been getting lately. I don't really remember anything about Like a Dragon Gaiden. Maybe that's the one actually with the girl boss. I think it is. So Ishin is the one that was just needlessly about, we're being discriminated or whatever. It was low-key Marxist at the beginning of the game, and then it was Like a Dragon Gaiden. That was the one that had the girl boss, as I now remember. Anyways, they blur together for me. It doesn't matter. Moving on. And again, I mentioned Remnant 2. Yeah, screw that game. I did play Lego Fortnite this year. I'm honestly just, they did the whole thing where men and women are equal and interchangeable with the game. I don't have to go into it. I played the game. It was like a bunch of other survival crafting games. I really don't care about it. So whatever, moving on. We also have Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now you, of course, can go check out the review on that game. Anyways, I played the game. I hate the game. I hate the story. We have female Vikings in that game. Screw you. Women were never Vikings. Throughout the game, we were getting our rocks off to killing Christians throughout the game, and also killing white people, white Christians. Don't forget about that. The game definitely was about, like, you can tell that the game was absolutely made for atheists who enjoyed the idea of white Christians being exterminated. I did not appreciate that about the game. It had a crappy story, crappy characters. Of course, we have an interchangeable main character protagonist. So it can be a male or female. The scenes are written and made for a male or a female. Is gay liberal horse crap. I'm fed up with this. Men and women are not interchangeable. They do not have the same stories. If a woman goes through a storyline, it's going to be very different than if a man goes through it. And by the way, what a woman can achieve is very different than what a man can achieve. I'm sick and tired of this liberal horse crap, this absolute ideological propaganda. Enough is enough. We also then got Skull and Bones, which came out this year. That was absolute dog trash. Not a fun game. We literally have a stamina bar for the wind to your sails. So whether or not your boat can go faster, it has a stamina bar for that. So the wind has a stamina bar. The wind gets tired every once in a while, and I guess your boat goes slower. Okay, that's retarded. The game was not fun. It was such an inferior version of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I don't know what the frick was going on there. It's a game that went through development hell. There's so many things that were better about Black Flag. Even the water physics and graphics were better. We have just laughably egalitarian demographics in Skull and Bones. So it's equally white, black, and Asian, men and women on these pirate ships. By the way, men are pirates, not women. You have a lot of these retards. They think that Vikings are women, that pirates are women. Go screw yourself, you're a cuck. Go screw yourself, you're a shill. You want to revise history? Go screw yourself. So anyways, yeah, you have so many leftist cucks out there. It's unbelievable, but here we are. So anyways, we have, what else? So yeah, that was Skull and Bones. Not a fun game. Absolutely terrible. Terrible open world design. Terrible mission design. It's just doing boring crap. Dude, it's so static and stale. The loot, everything is just terrible. And again, so much egalitarianism, women in men's roles, women who are pirates, and boring characters. There's a reason why the game failed. Then we have, for this year, we have Pal Worlds that came out. Pal World was absolute dog trash. It was not fun. It was not interesting. It was not well made. It was an empty sandbox open world survival game. Now, a bunch of shills came out of the woodwork. I had people, and I remember this one scenario. Someone tried to correct me about the number of pals that were in the game. Now, I was correct in what I said, but then they wanted to they wanted to nitpick and break straws about it, or whatever the frick. They wanted to split hairs, and I was like, okay, bro. You know, they were like, well, you said it was this number, and it's actually this number. Whatever, bro. Like, whatever the type of shill was defending Pal Worlds, freaking loser retards is all they are. They sat there and they had to be correct about everything, to the point that they're even incorrect in what they said, but they're in what it was. The game says that there's a certain amount of pals in the game, and a lot of those pals are just recycles of the original pals. Unique pals in the game are much less than the recycled pals. So I think I remember saying it was like 159 pals or whatever, and then they were like, well, actually there's 141, because okay, I don't remember the actual number. I think they said 119 or something, but anyways, it's like, those are the unique pals and you need to get it right. Okay, what? Go screw yourself. Go F yourself with a freaking rope. Anyways, so we're sitting here and we have these shills that came out of the woodwork for Pal Worlds. Listen, the game, a lot of recycled content, recycled pals, recycled locations, recycled dungeons. The game was lazily made. It was made to be a time waster, that you spend time on redundant information, redundant play loops. It's all redundancy, and you play that redundancy. There's only so much unique information, unique stimuli that you are engaged with throughout playing Pal Worlds. I did not enjoy the game. The game was rehashed over and over again. It was not fun. It did not feel unique. It did not feel interesting. I get the gimmick. It was cool for like the first 2 to 3 hours. Then quickly it wears off. And that's where, and also pushes a lot of egalitarian bullcrap. Women being these Pokemon master trainers. You go into these towers and you fight them. Oh wow, look at these women. They're the best of the best. And it's a lot of women who are the best of the best in the game. They're the best at, you know, they're all these Pokemon trainers, basically gym trainers like from Pokemon, and they just, it's all women and very few men. Again, the idea that women can do things men do and that more of them are better at things than men. Propaganda filth in an empty game that was made lazily. And guess what? Everyone forgot about the game. And guess what? Everyone stopped playing the game because there's no content, because I stand freaking correct in everything I think and say. I was correct on Pal Worlds. No one cares about it. Everyone knows the game is empty. Everyone knows the game is not that great and it's not that fun. Okay? You want to know what's better than Pal World, you freaking shill cuck lord? Here we go. Ark. Pick up Ark Survival Ascended. Came out recently, the remaster to Ark Survival Evolved. Has more content in the game. Yes, it had a really rough launch, but now the game's finished. And guess what? You walk into a swamp, you feel like you're in a swamp. The game is difficult, but only as far as you are prepared. The game is fun, the game is interesting, there's all these mechanics going on. When I picked up Ark Survival Ascended earlier this year, I was like, holy crap, games used to be good and fun and imaginative and well made. You go into a forest, it feels like a forest. You go into the tundra, feels like the tundra. You go into certain biomes and you see mammoths, you see certain dinosaurs, you're like, oh my gosh. You get scared just organically because you're going through organic scenarios. You're going into the desert, you see scorpions, the scorpion knocks you out. Now you're literally unconscious and you have to wait for your torpidity to restore itself so that you can wake up and run away from the scorpion, which might chase you down again. The game is fun, it is scary at times, Ark Survival Ascended is what Pal World should be. Well, guess what? Games are not being well made anymore. Now again, I know, right? Ark Survival Evolved was really bad at launch. Does not matter. The game was always better at launch. There was a vision for the game. Again, then you go underwater. There's all kinds of stuff that's going on underwater. The game has more mechanics going on. The beasts, the dinosaurs that you use in Ark, and then the DLC for Ark, by the way, super good, adds more to the game. Now, you know, listen, here's the thing. It will take you like 70 hours in Ark to finally feel like the game is redundant. This is the point. There are games that actually have content, and it actually has content that you can actually interface with and have a good time. Then we have games like Pal World where you interface with it and you already know that your time's being wasted 3 to 5 hours in. Again, do not pick up Pal World, pick up Ark Survival Ascended. It's an actually good game. It's so funny that we're going through all these games as special mentions before we are actually getting into the actual list here for the worst games of this year. But you know, there was a lot of games that I played, and I have a lot to say. I do want to make a special mention, which we will go into more of a detail later on. But Black Ops 6 has an absolute dog trash campaign. Do not forget that. It's absolute feminist dog trash. As usual, it's woke. Screw you, you freaking shills. Dude, the shills always come out and they defend everything that comes out every year now. If something's bad, there's always a shill. I don't know what it is. Anyways, screw Black Ops 6 and their campaign. I will also mention, we're gonna get into it with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, but of course that was a holy crap, killing Batman. They made a complete misuse of Superman. Feminism was Wonder Woman with Harley Quinn. She's a simp for Wonder Woman. The game thinks that everyone on the planet should be like the Amazonians because women are better than humanity, than men within humanity. That the Amazonians, that the Wonder Women, they show us what we should be because, you know, toxic masculinity, that whole thing. Yeah, it's absolute dog filth. And another game, by the way, that has Deborah Wilson in it because she is the face of ESG. Do not forget that, especially for Sweet Baby Inc. Anyways, we also had Diablo 4, one of the games. Again, I will speak a little bit more on this in a little bit here, but that's another game that came out this year. Again, feminist horse crap. It's a game that sat there and was pushing absolute propaganda. Women are just like men. They gave Narelle a man's archetype, a man's role in a story. She is a reverse Frodo Baggins. Go screw yourself. By the way, the men, they die in a stupid way. The men, they have to be corrected by women and told, no, don't give up. Don't be a quitter. You know, you're a freaking cuck. What's wrong with you? I'm a woman and I never give up because I never fight for anything. And then of course the women, they always nearly die randomly in the story, but then they never die, including Prava, a black woman leading a bunch of crusader white men. Remember that. And she's a religious leader over a church and a crusader army, something that is completely against the Bible. Whatever, though, I guess black women can now fulfill the roles of white men. Interesting how that happens. By the way, played by Deborah Wilson. Prava, by the way, dies in the story. But then somehow every crusader and his brother's dead, and then underneath a pile of freaking corpses, Prava is still alive. Sorry, it's just a flesh wound, bro. I didn't die. Those demons died instead because I'm a woman, a black woman. We don't die. It's every single woman in the game. They never die. There's 2 lesbians. One of them is supposed to die, as I remember. And they don't die because, again, women are invincible. This is one of the number 1 rules to feminism, is that women cannot and do not die. So anyway, screw Diablo 4. We will speak about it slightly more later on. Special mention, by the way, for this year, I read the Thrawn trilogy. Piece of trash, feminist, egalitarian, piece of trash. Anyone telling you that the Thrawn trilogy is good, they are lying to you. They are egalitarian cucks. They don't know a good story. They're freaking retards. Screw them. All right. The Thrawn trilogy is so laughable. It is a stain on the Star Wars IP, the Star Wars franchise. Screw you. It's not a proper story. Thrawn is not a genius. He's twirling his mustache saying, "Ah, I have a plan. Don't worry. It's all going according to my plan." And then he gets defeated by a bunch of retard meth addicts called Luke, Han, and Leia. All right. And then some other people, including girl boss Mara Jade, who gets the kill on Sith Lord Master Sabayoth. Go screw yourself. It's only done because Luke, he's a cuck, by the way. He can't kill anyone. So Mara Jade kills everyone for him because only women can do what a man is supposed to do. Because women are not only better than men, but they have more sense than men. Am I right, sisters? Yeah. I'm freaking right. Screw yourself for ever saying that the Thrawn trilogy, that anyone should waste their money on it. You suck and you want people to waste their time and money. F yourself. Alright. So, we talked about Black Ops 6. Yeah, that was dog trash. I hated that game. Now, let's get into some of the other games. Man, we played so much this year. Give me a moment here. I will quickly make mention of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Screw that game. It was boring. It was a soulless game. Again, we have a girl boss that at the end of the game, Indiana, they basically have this romantic adventure with each other. And then at the end, Indy's sitting there and he's like, "Hey, I'd like to keep on going on adventures with you, and maybe we can have a future together." And then she says, "I'm sorry, you're stuck in the past, Indy, and I need to go out to a war zone to cover the war as a girl boss, female reporter, and by the way, we know what happens to female reporters in war zones. Anyways, okay, go ahead, girl boss." But anyways, she has to go chase after being a career woman. I forgot to mention this, by the way. Luke tells freaking Mara Jade at the end of freaking Thrawn trilogy, "Oh, Mara, you're so brave and beautiful, and we basically were hard and heavy for each other, but you know what? Whatever. Go be a girl boss, Mara. The Republic needs you. And I'm just gonna go be a cuck over here, being Luke Skywalker. I'm gonna recreate the Jedi Order as we should totally bang and you should have a family with me. But oh, no. You need to go be a girl boss for the rest of the galaxy. You're right, Mara. You should go chase your career instead of settling down with me. And then when you're washed up and old, then when you're sitting there seething, no man wants you, I wonder why. Screw you, Timothy Zahn. You're a trash writer. You support feminism. You piece of filth. Women, women don't have a story. Women, they don't have careers. Women, they chase after men. And their entire existence is based upon the use and the legacy of a man. And Luke Skywalker is the best that Mara Jade would ever do. And for some reason, you're like, no, she should go chase her career because for some reason, a woman needs to be a man to have any value. No, she should have been freaking impregnated by freaking Luke Skywalker and he should have had freaking Luke babies with that freaking biatch. Instead, no, he's a freaking cock. At the end of the freaking story, he tells her to go be a career woman. Go F yourself. Anyways, and every cuck that believes that he didn't even say that to her because they forgot that I don't think these people ever read the books. I don't think they read the Thrawn trilogy. Go F yourself. Anyways, the same thing with the shills for Indiana and the Great Circle. Guess what? Oh yeah, and by the way, Han Solo is a freaking cuck too to Leia Organa Solo. Oh, she has to maintain her last name like a feminist. Because women don't like to take on the names of their husbands because they have to maintain the names of their family line because I'm going to have a career, babe. I'm going to go make my name for myself. I don't need your name. Again, feminist dog crap where women, they have to make stipulations to the last name when they get married because they're feminists and they have to maintain their legacy. Women have no legacy. Go screw yourself. Anyway. So anyways, Han Solo is he's basically a deadbeat dad, but he's still with the mom in the Thrawn trilogy, okay? Remember that. He's so useless. He's always grumbling about everything. He's not freaking Han Solo. Leia Organa Solo is Han Solo. She's running around pregnant, nearly getting herself assassinated and killed, and she has to be a freaking deadweight on both Han and Luke. What the F are you doing? You're a woman and you're pregnant. Stop running around the galaxy, getting yourself killed. Oh, that's right. Timothy Zahn is a major mother effing feminist, and everyone says that he's a great writer. Go F yourself. I know what you freaking worship and what you praise. You mean nothing to me, you freaking shills. Same thing happens with Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Indy gets cucked out at the end of the game. This freaking female that, you know, college lesbian feminist with the freaking short hair like a feminist. Go screw yourself. She's so washed up. Why would Indy ever get with her? I don't know. Used goods, and she never even had any goods to get used. Well, anyways, Indy is getting cucked out by this mother effing female in this game. At the end of the game, he's like, let's go together, right? And then she says, my career. And then he's like, well, I guess you're right. I'm too busy with the past, and I'm such a loser male. So I guess you go on, career girl. You go get it, babe. Screw you. This game was dog trash. And by the way, the whole story sucks. Voss is the main character. He's the only good character. He has the most personality out of anyone. Indy has no personality. Basically, we played throughout the game as the bad guys. By the way, the bad guys are comical in this game. They lose in random fights, random scenarios, just because the writers want them to. They're not real villains, by the way. If you know anything about the 1930s Germany guys, they're not all that bad as everyone makes them out to be. There's a lot of propaganda surrounding that, and this game's a part of that propaganda. A lot of them, the things that they believed in were a lot of things that a lot of people believe in today. Very interesting, but they're vilified very extensively. I wonder why. Anyways, by the way, you have more in common with those 1930s, if you're normal, if you're not a leftist fanatic. You have more in common with those 1930s Germany guys today than you do with the leftist fanatics of today. Those fanatics, those Marxist fanatics, that's what they want you to focus on, by the way. They want you to vilify the fascists, the little fascies, as we call them in Indiana Jones, The Great Circle. They want you to vilify the fascies, the fascists. They want you to vilify them so that you overlook the real enemy, the real villain, who is what? Marxists, communists. Because right now today, Marxism and communism, without anyone noticing it, is at an all-time high right now. More and more people are becoming socialists because of propaganda, of course. Everyone wants this stuff like UBI. They want stuff like where everyone shares assets, share resources. Absolutely not. You should have to work for what you earn. But of course, we also have that problem where a lot of people are being taxed up the honest. Oh, that's interesting. By the way, taxation is communist. And by the way, right now, a lot of people, they're supporting candidates, or at least, well, in the last couple of years, they've been supporting candidates. Even though Trump did win 3 elections, anyways, that's outside of the point. But you have a lot of people, they think that we need to tax the American people, and also in the EU. Again, people do not realize how big of an issue right now that Marxism, communism, socialism is right now. You're being taxed, and that is a communist measure. Anyways, and also, again, a part of communism, Marxism, socialism is to make the sovereign individual no longer sovereign, is to take away your sovereignty and give it to the elites. And of course, again, these leftist shills, they believe in the elites and that they should seize everything from you if you do not follow their politics. And by the way, if you don't believe it, you're not paying attention. Let's be very clear about this. Leftists are anti-gun, but they are pro-killer. Leftists are anti-corporation or company that is successful, owns a lot of land, has a big enterprise. They're anti-enterprise, but pro-confiscation by the government, which is air quotes by the people. They're pro-confiscation as long as it abides by their ethics. Remember this about the left. They are in support of everything to take from you, to kill you, to steal, rob, whatever, or to silence you. They are pro everything that is Marxist, communist, and socialist, which means silence you, make you starve, take your home from you, take your business from you, because they are pro cancellation. That is the same thing, by the way. Okay, there's many other layers to this, but remember this: the true enemy of mankind are the Marxists, the communists, the socialists. They are those who are most evil. Do not forget, there's many other things. We can also include the Bolshevik. That whole thing, the whole Bolsheviks killing a lot of Christian Russians. A lot of people like to overlook that. Guess what? Marxism, communism. We can go down the list even further with Mao's China and whole, again, Stalin and all that stuff. We can go through a very long list about communism across the world. In Poland, we can talk about that. In South America, we can talk about that. But they want you to focus on the fascists. I wonder why. And by the way, what they were fighting for was actually noble. And a lot of them were more intelligent than most people today. So it's like you want to hate on dudes who are your superiors. That's interesting how that works. It's only poor, stupid, lazy people that hate on the fascists because they're too lazy to educate themselves on them. And they're too stupid to understand that they're actually better and they believed in much better, greater things. By the way, again, what they believed in, what a woman's role and a man's role was in civilization and society, that's what every modern man and woman wants. What the fascists of 1930s Germany, what they wanted women to be is what right now what men want women to be today. By the way, what they wanted men to be was what women want men to be today. They wanted many good things for the children of their country. They were nationalists, by the way. Do not forget that. What does that mean? They wanted their people to do well. Their people at that time were struggling economically for certain reasons. Again, look into it for yourself. There were certain people who were the lawyers and the bankers. They didn't make up a large percentage of the population. That was very interesting. Why do you think they had a problem during that time? Why do you think they were upset about certain issues at that time? Because the German people were being screwed over by a very specific demographic. And by the way, everything you were told about during that time, I'm not going to go into it, but everything you were told was a lie. All right? And many of the things that they wanted make sense. You want your people to do well. You want your people educated. You want women in the home raising children so that those children are prepared for the next generation. And again, they wanted the men to be in politics, the men to be taking responsibility and authority for their civilization so that Germany can be strong and emboldened for the future and have great technological feats overcome. They wanted so many great things. Everything that everyone would say today, they want that for their country. It's interesting though that we say that they are evil. Very interesting. When you actually look into it all, you start to realize a lot of this stuff is made up because then they love to use, little exceptions to the rule. Well, there's this one crazy German guy. Anyways, this game is it's just another staple in the freaking book for pushing propaganda onto you, the unknowing, the unbeknownst viewer. So, at the end of the day, anyways, Indiana Jones, this guy's a freaking cuck in the game. He's cucked out at the end because egalitarianism, feminism is a brave and beautiful thing. And outside of this, we have to make a complete cartoonish villain out of really the guys who are the most charismatic, the most interesting, who are really just the good guys. Because, again, like the main characters, they suck. Again, these freaking woke tards, they can't make a good character to save their effing life. We have to follow these soulless husks, these egalitarian propagandistic characterizations for some reason all throughout the story. And again, do not forget, and apparently, by the way, the Nephilim giants were black. They want to push that idea in this story too, which, by the way, if you know anything about the Nephilim giants, there's a lot of evidence to say that they were white men with ginger hair. Okay, whatever, bro. Oh, and by the way, that whole thing about how Jesus was black, even though in the Bible in Revelation, it says that his head is white. It basically says, I don't know, his feet were bronze and his head was white. I don't know what that's about, but anyways, there's just more evidence to say that Jesus was white, but whatever. Or maybe he was just, he was tan. Whatever it is, okay. But okay, we're just gonna keep on making stuff up. I have to say this right now, by the way, there's nothing greater for a leftist. There's nothing more true than their propaganda. They cannot take the truth. They immediately shut their ears off the second they hear the truth. So anyways, I just have to say that right now because screw the left. Screw those woke tards. Anyway. So, let's go see what are some other games to make mention of. So right here, I'm looking through the list. Oh, frick, the Casting of Frank Stone. Casting of Frank Stone came out this year, and by the way, I also played The Quarry. Now, both of them are egalitarian dog crap. We place women into the archetypes of men. We make men complete goofball retards like in The Quarry. They can't even handle a gun. Brenda Song has to go correct men on how to handle a shotgun because they're too retarded and childish. Oh wow, that's not propaganda. That's not feminism to always say that men are these untrustworthy children, and that's always women who are more mature and they're the ones that can do everything better than men. Oh yeah, by the way, Brenda Song, she also aims a gun better than men. Okay, and then again, you know, many of the male characters are cucks in The Quarry. We have to push some homosexuality in The Quarry as well. That's gay and that's woke. Go screw yourself. These cuck-servatives, they're like, being gay is not woke. And pushing it, by the way, in a story is not woke. Yes, it is, you freaking clown. It is freaking woke. Go screw yourself. Anyways, we have the casting of Frank Stone as well, where we're pushing a female producer as a titular character in the story, and that she's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be the next Steven Spielberg, just you watch, bigots. And then, you know, her cuck boyfriend is an actor for her, and then they have these disgusting kisses, because he's kissing a freaking gremlin Smeagol monster, what the F. And again, then we got a freaking black cop from the 1950s, which makes absolutely no sense. It can't be a white guy, it has to be a black dude because diversity. It makes no sense that a cop would be black during that time period, but okay, whatever. Again, America is not a country for white people by white people. No, it's for minorities by minorities. That's what leftists believe in. That's what they want America to be, and they've been winning so far. If you look at America today, it is being invaded. Anyway, casting of Frank Stone, The Quarry, they did not have a story. They had dog trash stories. These people who made Until Dawn, they're absolute hacks. They don't know how to make a proper story. They suck at storytelling. And people, they shill for these games. They say it's a great story. I am convinced of this. For one, everyone's a shill. Everyone wants wokeness. You know, you have people like me who are actually making good stories, and I tell you about those stories, and then no one wants to go and freaking pick it up because you guys would rather wokeness, which is absolutely pathetic. You don't know a good story anymore because you refuse to pick up the alternative. You refuse to pick up actually good stories. I'm making the good stuff. I put my time into making good stuff, but you would rather pick up this woke dog trash. Anyways, that's just a side note. Go screw yourself, you woke tard losers. We also had Still Wakes the Deep, by the way. So I'm done talking about those two games. They suck. They're not worth the time. They have laughable endings, laughable storylines, terrible moments. I don't want to go into it. You can go see my reviews. Again, crappy games. We had Still Wakes the Deep. This game had some ugly woman that looks like a man in the game. That was great to see. We had black men who apparently represent English men in the game because, again, brave and beautiful diversity. It was a terrible story. The main character is a terrible father, apparently, a terrible husband. So he's vilified throughout the storyline. Don't forget that. The game sucked. It wasn't a good horror game. It wasn't a good game in general. Again, terrible story. Bunch of shills. Once again, they came out and said, this is super good. Oh my gosh, I love the story and I love the characters and I love the gameplay. This game sucks. It's not fun. I don't know what is it. Where are these shills coming from? They're multiplying by the year. Holy mother effing crap. Again, bro, you have people who actually make good stuff. Me. And then, of course, we have these shills out here and they act like they know what's good. No, you're a freaking retard clown. Go screw yourself. So yeah, Suicide Squad, we talked about that. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and then Remnant 2 and all its DLCs were dog trash. I am forgetting something. We talked about Diablo 4. We talked about... I played Fortnite this year. I did not really enjoy it, but really, I'm just neutral about it. We also played a couple of games. I played Predecessor this year. I'm neutral on it. I don't need to say anything about that. Valorant is another game that pushed the idea that if you're from the UK, you are black. The character that is to represent the UK in Valorant is a black male. Freaking retard dog crap. A white man is the representation for UK. Screw yourself. And by the way, that is an egalitarian woke game. Screw that game. Anyway, so, yep, those are the games that we talked about. Let's keep on going. Yep, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. That was dog trash. We're going to get through the list. I'm going to share with you kind of the ranking in a second here. But we're just doing the quick rundown. Well, is that it? Oh, no. We played some other games. Let me go check in here. Now, here is a special mention. I played Aliens Dark Descent, which is absolute girl boss feminist horse trash. Screw that game. Now, the gameplay was largely fun, but it was needlessly difficult in certain weird ways that it infuriated me. I could tell my time was being wasted, so I just said, screw this, I'm out. Man, there's so many shills nowadays. It's unbelievable. But anyway, I mean, seriously, there's so many shills, but Anyway, so that's just a special mention. The story for Aliens Dark Descent was woke dog crap. It was absolute trash. Screw that game. Women, by the way, on your fire team. So I immediately, and also a lot of colored people too. So I made sure to quickly change them all into white men, because that's what Aliens is supposed to be. So the franchise is supposed to be a bunch of white dudes. So anyways, let's go through this. So Skull and Bones, Persona 5 Tactica, yep. Starfield, we went through that. Dead Island 2, I played Dead Island 2. That is also woke dog trash. Terrible characters. We have a main character, she's a girl boss with lesbian hair, short hair, again, lesbian character. Screw her. It was not a fun game, had a terrible story. I hated Dead Island 2. It was a soulless husk. I made sure to quit that game as fast as possible. We also had Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, was just a gay game, but it was a good game in a lot of ways. I loved the freaking breasts in that game. Absolutely amazing. Dragon's Dogma 2 had a non-existent story. I don't know what the frick was going on there, but that was just what the F. It's a game that barely anyone remembers because it was just not that impressive, but you know, a lot of people, some people try to shill for it. Some people, I don't really know what to say about that game, but anyways, I was not impressed with Dragon's Dogma 2. It did not look like a good game. We also addressed God of War Ragnarok this year. Now, of course, I didn't play it, but this year, but I mean, I've seen the game like 3-4 times over now, 4 times. So I know this game like inside out. It's absolute cuck propaganda. Kratos is cucked. Freya is an absolute suffragette feminist. Screw that game. Screw the story. It's made by freaking woke tards. Senua Saga Hellblade 2. Now this is another game to mention that was played this year. I hated that game. Holy crap. It was freaking feminist dog trash propaganda. A woman fighting men, a woman acting like that her blade swinging against a man's blade, that it would have the same reaction. No, it would not. Okay, when Senua, whatever the F the main character's name is, whenever she's fighting men, it's like, no, you would be absolutely brutalized by these Viking dudes. You are not built like a man, you are not a man. But of course, we have to have a story with a main female protagonist because we have to treat women like they are men. So anyway, screw that game. Senua Saga Hellblade 2 was a piece of trash game that was pushing feminism. Then we had Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn, which is also, as I call it, Flint Spoken, The Siege of Frey Holland. It was boring. It was just boring woke, but it was pushing feminism. We have a female general. Screw this game. Screw this crap. The main character, some diverse female. The general, by the way, was a diverse female. This game was absolutely made by woke tards. Screw this game. I hate the game. Piece of freaking trash. It was boring, uninspired, boring woke dog crap. By the way, special mention on top of this is Immortals of Avium. I also played this game. It is woke, boring dog trash. We have women who look like men. We have women who are in authority positions above men everywhere you go. It's a melting pot everywhere you go. Diversity everywhere. Colored women everywhere. Colored people everywhere. And again, it's supposed to be inspired by Anglo-Saxon themes. They have a lot of environments that look like white people environments. Absolute dog trash. The game is woke. It pushes all kinds of just feminist dog crap. Again, I think Deborah Wilson's also no, a character, a female general that really looks like Deborah Wilson. It's not Deborah Wilson, but anyways, they just push so much feminism and multiculturalism through the game. It is demoralizing horse trash. We also have Tales of Arise, which is a game I hated. I did not like the story. It is egalitarian bullcrap. It pushes all this stupid nonsense about chasing after your dreams in a way that liberals tell you to do so in this really delusional way, but that's a whole other whatever. Anyways, it pushes multiculturalism. It pushes that the peasants are against those who are these guys who came from outer space. They're basically fascists, and the peasants, the main characters, they're all a bunch of people who are in shape, largely attractive. They don't look any different from the villains of the story, but you have to feel sorry for the main characters and the rebels of the story, even though the rebels, like, again, they're no different from the bad guys, except for, I guess, they're being oppressed. But in real life, bro, if you know anything about poor people, they're absolute pieces of filth. This game, Tales of Arise, was absolute propaganda, pushing the idea that poor people, you need to feel sorry for them, and they're just being oppressed by people who are richer, wealthier, or just more technologically advanced than them, right? Oh my gosh. Colonizers and colonization is so wrong and it's so evil. Oh my gosh, let's clutch our pearls. This is so bad and wrong. They never use the real life examples of, however, the rebels, the poor people in real life. They're always ugly. They're always obese. They're always terrible people. They don't know how, they don't behave well. They're stinky, they're smelly, they're misbehaved, but we have to feel sorry for these people because they're the rebels. This is propaganda. Most of the time, the rebels are pieces of filth. It's only the exception, which is America, through what? The Revolutionary War, where the Americans happen to be better people than the British. But there's so many colonizers throughout history that are better than the people that they are making civilized, the people that they are sophisticating. I'm so sick and tired of this freaking dog trash propaganda. Anyways, moving on. Tales of Arise. Listen, man, had hot chicks in it, women with big breasts and figurely bodies. But again, it is pushing propaganda. And there's also a colored prince, a brown or black guy that definitely was supposed to be a white dude, but they had to get their ESG somewhere. And he's ruling over a kingdom of, wait for it, white people. His second in command is what? A white Aryan woman. That's interesting. Her name's Kasara. Anyway. The game is propaganda. It pushes propaganda on multiple layers. Moving on. Absolute dog trash filth. Then we have Dustborn. You know, some people want to act like Dustborn was the most woke game of the year, but really, it wasn't. There's so much dog crap woke nonsense that came out. But Dustborn was definitely made for the mentally ill losers. I say in the title, it is made for mentally ill losers who think their mommy is daddy, which happens to be a lot of shills. They all think their mommy is daddy, so whatever, but regardless of such fact, Dustborn was woke, dog trash, terrible story. You know, liberals always love to act like that the right wing is hunting them down and that they're being persecuted against, even though they happen to be invading right wing countries. So no, actually you should be, air quotes, persecuted against because you are invading someone's country. You are not owed to invade someone's country. It is so amazing to me how these people think that they are entitled to walk into your country, take over your population, take over your people, and say that we are you now. We are your demographic now. No, you came into someone's country. They are the citizens. You are not. When you invade someone's country, you should be executed. You do not belong in their country. You illegally came in. There is no acceptance for this. Get the F out or get executed. Those are your options. Go bone yourself. So we have this game where it pushes that propaganda that just because you show up in a country, you should be permitted as a citizen, or else you are an evil bigot. Remember this, you are an evil bigot if you, in any way, you enforce your borders, you enforce your citizenship. Apparently, you have to allow everyone and their freaking dog into your country and give them all citizenship. Go after yourself. This is evil, this is satanic, and no one wants to call it out. Well, Let's call it out. You are a Satanist. Screw yourself. Anyways, MechWarrior 5 Clans was another game that came out this year. Woke dog crap, bunch of colored women in roles of leadership, just a bunch of women in general in leadership, women with dyke lesbian haircuts, women acting like men, women fulfilling the personas, the personalities of men. Again, absolute feminism, absolute multiculturalism. You know what I love about a game like this? For one, it has a bunch of shills. They're like, you didn't read every MechWarrior book that's come out since 1970s? You're wrong, and you're a loser, and you need to be corrected, and you need therapy. They say all this dog trash, and it's like, so you want me to be an absolute shill for some franchise, some product? You want me to literally spend how much money reading and time reading a bunch of books on a franchise that's dog trash and I don't care about? You want me to waste my time so that I can share my opinion about a video game that I purchased for and that I played and I did not enjoy my time, and now I'm sharing my opinion? You want me to spend even more money and spend more time with the franchise? You think like a freaking propagandist. You think like a freaking shill. You want me to sit down and waste my time? Oh, you didn't like our product? Spend more time with product. Give us more money. Here's something I want you to do. You don't know a good story, pick up my books, then you will know a good story. But you won't, because you're a freaking cucklord, piece of trash, filth. Shill. You're a shill. Screw yourself. Bone yourself. Again, MechWarrior 5 Clans was absolute ideological propaganda dog trash. It was made for cucks. It's made for men who think that women are equal to them. It's made for men who think that colored women are equal to them. And it's made for men who think that multiculturalism and feminism is brave and beautiful. It's made for men who are leftist cucks. Go bone yourself. You're a freaking loser, and you don't know a good story. And then you sit there, and because other people don't like your dog trash, you say, well, buy more of our favorite dog trash property. Oh, you don't like Marvel movies? Well, you didn't watch them all. Spend more money, you bigot. Spend more money on Disney and watch more of our movies. Then you will love it. No, bone yourself. You're a retard. Screw yourself. And you're also a leftist. Go bone yourself. And you're a cuck-servative. Go bone yourself, because some of them are cuck-servatives. There's a lot of those these days. It's called the woke right. A lot of right-wingers who happen to be woke, because they're disenfranchised with the left. So then they change sides, and then they're trying to wokeify the right, which they've been doing for a long time. Anyways, MechWarrior 5, absolute dog trash. The women are basically men, and the men are a bunch of cocks. And by the way, I hate the mentality on masculinity in this game, because it is a mentality of absolute perfection no matter what. No, masculinity is perseverance, persistence no matter what. Just like Space Marines, just like in Warhammer, it's no matter how many times you are pushed down, no matter how many times you fall and you trip, no matter what, no matter how you stumble, no matter how you fall, which by the way is biblical. This is also, by the way, what you read in the Old Testament. No matter how much you fail, no matter how much you falter, no matter how bad things get, you as a man, you persevere. Now, of course, there's a point where it just gets ridiculous. We're just talking about within pragmatic sense, which a lot of people lack these days. But no, this is biblical, and this is what Warhammer understands about masculinity. Is never about perfection. No, because you will sin, you will stumble, you will fail, you will be tempted by Satan or whatever, or Satan will be given permission to put you through trials and tribulations. You persevere no matter what, and you aim upward towards the divinity of God. That is what you persevere after. No matter what, you will never surrender, never give up. You will live and die on the name of God. That is masculinity, which a lot of atheist cucks nowadays, which happens to be a growing number, who also happen to be Marxists. Do not forget that. These are evil Satanists. Do not forget that. But anyways, again, remember, egalitarianism comes from what? Satanism. But what is egalitarianism? Satanism is the Chronos to Zeus. Zeus is the egalitarianism. Right now, egalitarianism is a modern day polytheistic religion. Beneath it, what is the mother? It breeds with egalitarianism. What is the mother to all of egalitarianism? It is relativism. Relativism then gives birth to feminism, socialism, also Marxism, communism, also the gender stuff that's going on right now. Everything, and then simping, by the way, is a part of that. Simping is another false idol of egalitarianism, because you are worshiping feminism, so it's a child of feminism, effectively speaking. You can go down the list. You will see the children of this pantheon of egalitarianism once you see through their lies, once you see through their ideology and the religion, the modern day religion that it is. You are a Satanist. Remember that. You are a Satanist when you believe in this dog trash filth. The Bible and God is absolute and supreme. Go bone yourself. Anyways, moving on. Well, actually, anyways, I'm just gonna finish this with MechWarrior 5 Clans. It is woke, feminist, horse crap. Let's not forget that. It was an okay game, not that fun. Honestly, MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries is a much better game. The game was really uninspired. The story sucked. It was written basically like, how did I say? It was written like feminist young adult fan fiction. That's how I put it, for emasculated men, which I was correct. And then all the cucks that told me, you're wrong, you didn't buy enough of our crappy game, whatever, in our crappy books and our crappy franchise. I don't care. Go screw yourself, you freaking cuck lords. Anyways, the game was made for egalitarian liberal feminists, and these emasculated losers, they come out the woodwork defending their dog trash game, where we have a lot of dog trash characters. No one remembers it. No one cares about it. The women are men and the men are women. And again, the way they approach masculinity is one of perfection, that if you are not absolutely perfect as a man, you must be scorned. Oh, you got an A on a test, not a freaking A+, you will be flogged now. You must now study. Go back into your study prison. You have to get that A+. You got a 90, not a 99? How dare you, you piece of filth? No. Again, does not matter. How you trip, how you falter, how you fail, does not matter. How do you correct your errors, your mistakes? And again, it's not about making mistakes, but you cannot avoid sin, missing the mark in life. You cannot avoid missing the mark. As a man, is about how do you correct how you falter, is not about how you make yourself perfect. This is how women view masculinity. This is not how men view masculinity. Remember that. And again, one of the greatest expressions of masculinity is the Old Testament within the Bible. Do not forget this. How Satan and how women, by the way, they have a preference for Satan. This is as old as Genesis. Understand that women have they have a deference towards Satan rather than God. It is man that will defer to God. This is as old as the tree and the fruit of knowledge, okay? I don't know how people forget all this, but that's because nobody reads the Bible anymore. And that's why you have so many leftist cucks today. And that's why these leftist cucks, they're not willing to die for anything except for simping for feminism. Pathetic. So anyways, that's just what I have to say about MechWarrior 5 Clans, piece of trash, and a lot of those who like it are liberal leftist cuck losers. We did play, by the way, this year, Lightyear Frontier, which is basically climate change propaganda. Outside of that, it was an okay game. I didn't really care about it. I'm neutral on it. Evil West, by the way, was a decent game that came out this year, but honestly, I am neutral on it. But it does push propaganda, feminist propaganda. Slight multiculturalism, but not too much. It's okay on that front. It's not too good, not too bad, but that is a game that was an absolute drag to play. But we have a main female villain in this game, antagonist. Do not forget that. The main antagonist was not a man. It was intentionally a female. And then we have a female doctor that has more sense than the men in the story. We have a lot of feminism that's pushed with the women, that the women are better than the men or more sensible than the men. Something I forgot to mention. We also have Unknown 9 Awakening, which came out this year, which was something that, the game bombed so bad that nobody even watched the freaking review. It was that crazy, okay? That was insane. But yeah, no one cared about the game. Anyways, that was a game that was made with a diverse female protagonist. It was soulless dog trash garbage. I don't remember that much about it anymore. I hated the game though. It was boring. It was not fun. Oh, you know what it was, by the way? It was basically Uncharted made for India. That's really what it is. Honestly, that's what it is. It's Uncharted made for India. And we have a main protagonist girl boss. She's colored, of course. She's Indian. She's Yennefer from the Witcher television show, by the way, which that's not who Yennefer is. You know, I could show to you a list of women that are actually Yennefer. They look like Yennefer. They happen to be English, by the way, or a little bit European. And they're freaking busty. They're hot. But of course, those women, they, instead of them getting casted for Yennefer in the Witcher television show, instead we get this freaking biatch who's Indian, by the way. Don't forget that. Anyways, she gets another girl boss who's basically Sullivan from the Uncharted series, following you around. This is literally, we gender swapped and race swapped Nathan Drake and Sullivan from the Uncharted series. We lamed and gayed freaking Uncharted through Unknown 9 Awakening, and guess what? Nobody remembers the game came out. Trashy story. It's dog trash. No one cares about it. I can't even believe I made a video on it because no one cared. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, so anyways, we covered Immortals of Avium. We covered Elden Ring. Shadow of the Erd Tree DLC was absolute dog trash. Holy crap, I could not stand that. Now, that was not, well, it was gay. It was definitely about a gay brother who forcibly copulated his older brother, as I remember, and his brother that copulated him forcibly was also a femboy, which is also disgusting. So it was and it was released during Gay Pride, so remember that. So anyways, George R.R. Martin is an absolute degenerate, and them making this DLC, the story was absolute leftist propaganda dog crap. If you know anything about the story, which you won't really, because nobody knows the story to Elden Ring or the lore. No one cares. Anyways, but you know, I could not stand the DLC based on gameplay. The bosses were made for masochists. Again, dude, Souls-like games are no longer made for fun. They're no longer made to be a good use of your time. No, it's just made to waste hours of your life fighting the same boss where you don't have any fun. It used to be, dude, I used to love the Dark Souls games. I used to love the Souls-like series. I used to play games like The Surge, like Code Vein, like Wulong Dynasty. I used to play a lot of these games, but now these developers, the only way that they can continue making their games is, I guess, we have this weird, like, technological treadmill with Souls-like games where every developer wants to make their Souls-like more difficult and more erroneous than the previous Souls-like. So now we get into this position where, you know, certain bosses and like Liza P or whatnot, especially the nameless mother effing puppet, I spent like, I think it was like 12 hours fighting that mother effing thing. You want to know what broke me on Souls-like games? It was the nameless puppet. I defeated it, but after the nameless puppet, I was like, F these games. And then I picked up the freaking Elden Ring DLC and I was like, I'm done. I'm done. Lords of the Fallen, the same thing happened with that. Bro, I'm broken. I'm done with Souls-like games. I'm fed up with them. I could not finish the DLC. I spent my money on it, and I'm sad I did. Maybe I will finish it someday, but honestly, bro, I just freaking had it. I lost my patience because these games are now made to just be unfair, not a challenge, but unfair. I'm done. I used to love these games. Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring are some of my favorite games. But now, I'm done. The DLC sucked. Everything sucks. I'm fed up. I'm done. So that's all I have to say on Elden Ring, the Shadow of the Erd Tree. We then have Star Wars Outlaws, which I made an absolutely legendary video on. I took the freaking crap out of that freaking game. Outside of that, though, it's such laughable feminist dog crap. Everyone forgot about it. I hate freaking Disney. This game replaced Star Wars Outlaws, replaced Star Wars 1818 is what I think it was called. Star Wars 1818, whatever. So we were supposed to get a game following a bounty hunter, a male bounty hunter, but instead now we get this trashy game where we are following Kay Vess, as otherwise known as Kay Vest, or as I call her, Kay Vesty. Anyways, screw this game. It was feminist dog water horse trash. Everyone knows it was dog trash. It was not fun to play. The Empire is an absolute joke. We have women in roles of leadership, in roles of men everywhere you go. Oh, screw this game. I want to curse it out. it makes me that angry. I used to love Star Wars. Now I hate Star Wars. Screw you, Kathy Kennedy, and also screw you, freaking Star Wars. Modern Disney Star Wars, screw yourself. By the way, special mention for this year, I played Jedi Survivor. One more time, I played Jedi Survivor. One more time, I played Jedi Survivor. Now, a lot of people, they shilled out for Jedi Survivor. A lot of people said, oh, it's so good. I love Cal Kestis. I'm going to tell you this right now. The developers, they regretted making Cal Kestis a character. That's number one. Number two, we push a lot of freaking feminist dog crap. Female bounty hunters. Female, the Night Sister, freaking Marin, is what they wished Cal Kestis was. This, by the way, Jedi Survivor was written by a romance novel feminist. I don't know if it was a man or a woman. All I know is it was written like a romance novel, which is always written by feminists. And of course, it was made where Bo-Katan, I think that's his name, he's basically gay, low-key gay with Cal Kestis, because women, they have a degenerate fantasy that men be homosexual. Again, you are a Satanist, go F yourself. Anyway, we have feminism everywhere, though. Marin is a Night Sister, and she's more powerful than any Jedi. Literally, we have scenes where Cal uses his Jedi powers like a freaking buffoon, and then she has to use her Night Sister powers to fix the errors of Cal Kestis and his Jedi power ways. You know, we have to always make it where basically the men are always lesser and worse than the women, and that the women, they correct men. We push this feminist dog crap. Well, screw you and screw this game. Jedi Survivor was made for feminist. Jedi Survivor, by the way, Deborah Wilson is in this game, and she is a Grandmaster Jedi. Wow, I wonder why. And she's more powerful than any Jedi that we know of, especially in the Jedi Order games. She literally defeats Darth Vader. Okay, listen, everyone clashing their blades together in this game all the time and meeting at each other's faces, it gets a little old. Everyone's supposed to have these super important standoffs, and it's just like, okay.
I am your death, Master Junior.
Please be, please be.
You have grown stronger.
Whoa, come on.
I've only let go of my fear.
We shall see.
Growing stronger. Growing stronger. Using a freaking Obi-Wan line as if they fought before. Just stop. Just stop. Oh, come. Screw you, trying to give mother effing black woman freaking upper hand on Darth Vader. Screw you. Jeez Louise, he knows better than to get freaking crumbled like that. Yeah, I know, you're so tired. You're so tired. Of course he comes back. What a joke. 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 Make it stop. Make it stop. Yes, Darth Vader's awesome. Everything else in this game isn't. Ah. Of course, it keeps going. Okay. I can't believe she got the one up on him. I'm so pissed. I'm so... Black woman, fall to the power of the dark side. You know you want to join me. You're so strong, black woman. The other girls aren't like you. Actually, they are, but... sorry, the other men, they're not like you. What? Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. Screw you, game. I freaking grinded in this game, leveling up Cal mother effing Kestis, and you make me play as effing Deborah Wilson in this effing crappy fight. Oh my god, I don't want to play her. Oh, stop. The fact that, oh my god, the fact that she keeps getting one-ups. That was so retarded. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What? This is a humiliation ritual for Darth Vader. What is it? You would never struggle like that. They would never cut that close. What? They're both dead? What? No. Stop it. Stop. This is so bad. I don't know who Trilla is. Your lesbian lover. I don't care. What the F? What the frick? Stop it. Stop. This is so bad. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Female rider. Remind yourself. Female rider. Female rider! What a joke. They want you to feel sorry for Deborah. They want you to believe that Deborah is equal in power level to Darth Vader. She just got unlucky. Screw you. The fact that she ever got any kind of upper hand on Darth Vader, the fact that it was ever close to begin with. Joke. Whatever. Don't be sad. I'm freaking glad. Why does he act like a dog? You're a droid. Oh, whatever. How am I gonna make this review? I want to make a compilation of my rage at this game. I want to. It's that bad. But that's gonna take me so much time to do. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. How am I gonna do this review? I have so many layers of anger for all of this. Stop it. I hate modern storytelling. It is so bad. This is a joke. This is a humiliation ritual for me as the player, for Darth Vader as a character, for all the male characters for just existing. I hate this. Yeah, screw off, Grease. Stop at the, oh yeah. Oh, poor little puppy. That's a freaking droid. You have mental illness.
Stay safe.
I hate this. Yeah. How many freaking cocks are gonna sit there when someone sits there? You know, people ask on forums. They ask the question, who is able to go toe to toe with Darth Vader? Who's really strong that they can rival Vader's power? And it used to be that. It was like, oh, well, this one legitimate Jedi, who's a man, or this legitimate Jedi, who's a man, or that legitimate Jedi, who's a man. Now they're gonna sit there and they're gonna be like, oh, well, actually, Deborah Wilson, Jedi Judo, or whatever the frickin' name was, she was so strong, and she could rival Vader in his power. Oh my god, it's so brave, so beautiful. Oh! Screw these canon revisionists. One more time. Screw these canon revisionists. Screw them. Whatever. Do you think I care? Do you think I care? Do you think I care, Marin? This is so bad. Marin is so unattractive in this game, but the real life chick that they based her on is actually, again, she's not killer, but she's pretty decently attractive still. I mean, I would say she's a solid like 7 out of 10.
So what do you think?
Here, she's a freaking 4 or 3. And by luck, Darth Vader defeats Deborah Wilson. Oh wow. And by the way, by the way, you fight Darth Vader as Deborah Wilson because for some reason Cal Kestis gets a concussion somewhere in the story near the end. And of course, we have to push a lot of multiculturalism, all these brown people running around. Okay, you know, India owns your Star Wars now. Africa owns your Star Wars now. Don't forget that. Again, Deborah Wilson, she's stronger than almost any Jedi we know. She can literally stop a TIE fighter flying above you on ground, and she literally stops it midair, and she crumbles it through the Force. I'm so glad. I love diversity. I love black, powerful women. I love them. I love them so much. And I love multiculturalism, and I love feminism. I love it when women are stronger than men, and I love it when women, by the way, women are not Grandmaster Jedis, but do not forget, now they are in Disney Star Wars. This game pushes feminism. It pushes that Deborah Wilson, she would have defeated Darth Vader if only Darth Vader didn't have a film after this game, right? We already know Darth Vader's story, so he can't die. But they wanted Deborah Wilson to defeat him, and he was nearly defeated. Bone yourself. Literally, there's so many within the fight that Deborah Wilson has with Darth Vader. There are literal swings and fighting maneuvers where it's like, Darth Vader should have killed her right there. Darth Vader should have killed her right there. It's like she literally has her back towards him, or, you know, he has her guard broken, whatever. And it's like, he didn't kill her there. He didn't kill her here. He didn't kill her there, everywhere. What the frick is in the fight that they had? She should have died like 4 or 5 times. But oh, I'm sorry. She's Deborah Wilson. She can't lose. She can't die in any game she's in. Don't forget this. Freaking, what is it? Suicide Squad. Can't die there. Oh yeah, wait. Oh yeah, she literally kills Brainiac, by the way, in Suicide Squad because, again, Deborah Wilson, she always had to get the freaking victory in everything she's in. What the F? And again, as Prava in Diablo 4, she can't die, even though every other man in the freaking army, they all die. All the Crusaders that she's leading, they're all dead. She doesn't die somehow. To a freaking horde. You see it in the mother. She is literally overtaken by a horde of demons, and she somehow survives. Just a flesh wound, bro. These demons that literally chew people out and kill them viciously. Somehow Prava, on the front line of the battlefield, she doesn't die. If you need no greater example of how retarded feminism is, look no further. Anyways, screw Star Wars Outlaws, and screw Jedi Survivor. I have a video that's going to be coming out. It's going to take a lot of work because that is a game I have a very special sort of hatred for. The story sucks. The way they go about a lot of the villains, they emasculate so many of the men in the game. A lot of the men, oh gosh, dude, there's so much. There are so many issues with the story of Jedi Survivor. The story sucks. Again, you don't know a good story because you won't pick up good stories. You want a good story? Pick up my freaking crap, mother effer. Anyways, in Jedi Survivor though, oh my gosh, bro. I mean, we have freaking villains. They just disappear temporarily, and then they're defeated retardedly. And then dude, I'm thinking back on all of the story beats throughout that game was a special form of torture for me, where I enjoyed the first like 9 hours of the game. After that, it felt like a slog. They reused the same enemies over and over again. The enemies, you already know how to defeat them, but you now understand that how you defeat them, you have to wait for them to play through the mechanics, right? There's basically a timer on every enemy you fight because they have to block a certain number of your attacks, and you can only counter them when they finally use certain attacks. And it happens the same way every time. It is algorithmic fighting. It is not, oh, let me figure this out and be interesting when I fight every single enemy. No, it's just on an algorithm. You have to block a certain number of attacks. They block a certain number of your attacks. You're only allowed to hit them once or twice. Then they block a certain number of attacks. Gay horse crap. I hate the game. There's certain interesting things that they did with Jedi Survivor. There's certain elements about the gameplay that I enjoyed, but outside of that, the game overstayed its welcome. By the way, do not forget that you're chasing after an ancient civilization of the Old Republic, where a black female, she left for you a relic of a special planet that you have to go discover with special technology that the black woman created, that the black woman made with some cuck dude. I think his name was Dagon or whatever. Anyways, women are strong and powerful. Women are better than the men. Women are the reason why history gets made in Jedi Mother effing Survivor. This game is absolute propaganda dog crap. I can't believe people sat there and they shilled out for Jedi Survivor. Screw this mother effing game. Oh, and by the way, Bo-Katan and his whole thing with his daughter, and you have to feel sorry for him, and he's an understandable villain, and oh, you know, feel sorry for the Indian guy who doesn't really look Indian, but what? Oh, by the way, let me mention this again. I have so much to mention in the review, and I have to edit through it right now. But anyways, the mother, literally look up the senior writer for Jedi Survivor, a woman. Absolute feminist. Gee, I wonder why she wrote Cal Kestis and Bo-Katan as low-key homosexuals for each other. By the way, Bo-Katan, single father. By the way, look at Bo-Katan. I swore after a certain point that he was such a sympathetic villain. He was the main villain of the game, by the way. Interestingly. I wonder why. Female writers have a certain fascination with doing this to male characters. All the things I'm talking about here. Guess what? Go look at how, when I was playing through the game, I was like, you know what? I almost swear that Bo, his character, he must be like the boyfriend or the husband of the female writer. He has to be. But I don't know if that's the case or not. But I will tell you this. The main writer, the senior writer, the female writer, she was absolutely thirsty for Bo-Katan. I want you to do something. And by the way, you can just check out my review, which will come out eventually here. But you can look it up yourself. Look up the senior writer. Look her up. Go look up Bo-Katan. I mean, you know, he looks like the actor. But look up the senior writer. Yeah, there's a lot of genetic symmetry between herself and Bo-Katan. Gee, I wonder why they hired this guy to play as Bo. I wonder why it was so clear that the writer was so horny, because you can tell that the writer was horny for Bo. You can tell that he was the Chad, the absolute Brad for the writer, the feminist female writer, the romance novel writing writer of this game, Jedi Survivor. You can tell that either she got laid by that dude and he's like her freaking dreamboat, I don't know, or she wants him to bone her. I don't know what it is, but you can tell she was down bad for this Bo guy. I forget it's some Indian name for the dude. He doesn't look Indian. He barely looks Indian, but he is Indian. So he's a freaking Chad Indian. That's really what it is. Yeah, you can tell that the writer, man, she was hot and heavy for that guy. Because, man, she did everything in her power to make you feel sympathetic for him. The whole story in the end was about him and you and Cal Kestis. Oh my god, I have so much more to say about love of God. Screw Jedi Survivor. By the way, they want Night Sisters to be stronger. By the way, they're witches, which by the way is Satanist, dog crap. But they want Night Sisters to be regarded as stronger than Jedi. Do not forget that as well. Of course, though, if a woman is a Jedi, she's stronger than men. Anyways. But they want the Night Sisters to be absolutely stronger than the Jedi, and specifically to correct the patriarchal designs of the Jedi. It's also supposed to be a matriarchy that's better and much more sophisticated than the men of the Jedi Order. Anyways, this game is it fills out so much propaganda. This is only the surface, bro. I played through the game and I was seething the entire time. You can go watch me play the game because I'm thinking about certain things. Sadly, I had a fire alarm chirping throughout the playthrough. It was really weird. I thought it was something else. I was checking my fire alarm. It wasn't that. But anyways, during my playthrough, I was temporarily a black person. But outside of being a black person for a little while in the playthrough, man, we had a good time with that playthrough. I made some freaking jokes. I was seething 24/7. That was a freaking, whoa. That was a roller coaster. Playing through Jedi Survivor was one heck of a ride, and not because it was good, but because it was absolutely terrible and bad. Screw that game. Holy crap, when I come out with that freaking review, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be tearing it a mother effing new one. Dude, I hate that game so much. Oh lord, bro, this video just keeps on going on. There's so much that was bad this year. Oh my god, when I was talking about this video, we've been actually storming through this because, like, I'm not going to recap that much at the end of this video. I'm going to attempt to rank these games, but there's so many bad games, I don't know. This is why we're just going through it. We're going down the rundown right now because I have no idea. Bro, by the way, I did not mention everything that is bad about Jedi Survivor. There is so much that's wrong with that game. Honestly, I hate that game even more than Star Wars Outlaws. Star Wars Outlaws, it's laughable, it's a joke, has a terrible ending to the game, the story, K-Vest, it's a complete joke. But Jedi Survivor has so many things I hate about it. It is these woke tards trying to push off their politics as acceptable all throughout. They're trying to make a game that you accept a few things. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I have 2 videos coming out on it anyways. You can go see those videos, man, when they come out. But, oh, man. So anyways, we have to talk about the next games. Silent Hill 2 Remake, they turned Mary into a freaking Karen. The chick that was... What is her name now? Anyways, that chick, Angela, yeah, Mangela. Yeah, they made her look like a man. The voice actor for Jason Sunderland, he did a really good job, but outside of that, I was just really disappointed by the game, by some of the design decisions that they made. Now, I have nothing else to really say about it. I was just not impressed. There's certain elements it was improved on the original, but outside of that, man, it's just a nihilistic game. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like the story in the end. Some people like it. I get it. It's horror. I hate horror to begin with, but I also hate the fact that they ruined the women in the game. They absolutely ruined the women. The women were better. There were some scenes that were still kind of like cringe. It wasn't really well delivered, but whatever. But the Shills, they loved this game and they acted like, oh, this is game of the year and blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Man, the Shills, they just amaze me. Moving on. Then we have Dragon Age the Veilguard. And Dragon Age the Veilguard, no one has to say anything about this. This is absolute propaganda dog trash for the Rainbow Mafia. Tosh is basically the main character because everything's about her, air quotes. He, her, blah, 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 whatever. She is a man-woman. She is the main character. They ruined the Canary in this game. I hate Dragon Age the Veilguard because we should have gotten a faithful sequel to Dragon Age Inquisition, because although I hated the companions and even though Dragon Age Inquisition was proto-woke, it was such a great game to play. It was fun playing the game, fun progressing through the game. Outside of the wokeness that was in Dragon Age Inquisition, that game had a great story. I actually loved it. Outside of, again, the woke elements, if you overlook the wokeness, it was a great game. Great story, great characters for the most part. But, the women were not sexy. Women in Dragon Age, they used to be sexy. Remember Isabella with her freaking enormous, thick, tight breasts. Yeah, remember her? Yeah, she was hot. Yeah, every dude and his brother wanted to freaking slam the freaking vajayjay out of her. That's a real woman right there, I'll tell you that. But anyways, yeah, so Dragon Age the Veilguard, though, they bastardized Solus in his character. He was basically thrown into the writer's timeout room. Varric is randomly dead all throughout the game. They did everything they could to remove the men out of the story, bring in dudes who are maybe gay, and also just bring in women as the main characters. And the women in this game are absolutely insufferable. Holy crap, the writing is so bad, bro. I sat through this entire game. I am so glad I did not buy it, but I sat through the entirety of the game. This game is a slog. The combat sucks. You are using the same combat moves over and over again. These are bullet sponges that you're fighting. It's worse than Dragon Age Inquisition, even though that slightly had bullet sponges, right? But that was a fun game regardless, a great RPG experience regardless. Veilguard, soulless game, terrible. It is an unfaithful expression of Dragon Age Inquisition. The writing, again, like all the characters, they're such dog crap. If you want to get immersed, they are just pulling you right into SJW, Starbucks barista, Redditor mode every second of the dialogue. This game is worse than Dustborn. In both of these games, a lot of games that came out this year were absolute woke dog trash. But this game takes the mother effing cake. I mean, seriously, Dragon Age the Veilguard is a special version, special form of retardation, of wokeness. I hate this freaking game. I hate what they did to the sequel. This should have been Game of the Year. Dragon Age the Veilguard, which is not what the original title was not supposed to be, but whatever. I think it was supposed to be Dreadwolf or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, the story was absolute dog filth. The story goes absolutely nowhere. The story starts and then it gets dragged out throughout the middle and then it continues at the end. Okay, they dragged out this game. They had no story for it. The characters suck. Of course, women are always in roles of authority. The main villain that's getting bailed out by her brother is a female. The main villain of the game is a woman. What the F? I hate this game. I hate the characters. I hate the writing because objectively, no matter how hard the shills try to say, oh, it's good, why is everyone complaining? Because the shills, they always come out for all of these dog trash games. Not even the shills. Not even they could save Dragon Age the Veilguard. Go bone yourself, shills. You literally stand up for every... Where are these shills coming from, bro? There's literally shills for every game that comes out, even Dragon Age the Veilguard. What the frick is going on here? What the F? Bro, gaming is dead, and it's because of gamers. I don't know what the F is going on, but frickin' A, there's so many of these frickin' queers. They're everywhere. All right. Next. Okay, then I'm just gonna rush through this one. Stalker 2. Boring game, no story. I saw this game throughout the entirety of it. I could only play so much of it, but I saw the full game. Listen, man, the story goes absolutely nowhere. The characters suck. This game feels so nihilistic because it is nihilistic. This game sucked. I did not like Stalker 2. It was absolute dog trash. It was not a fun game. I don't know. There's a bunch of shills for this game. I don't know what is wrong with people, but there's so many shills for all of these games. I don't know what happened, but what the... Bro, we have shills up the wazoo for everything that's coming out right now. I don't know what it comes down to, but it's just like Stalker 2. It was a boring, crappy game. It wasn't so much as it was woke. It wasn't woke almost in anything. I think there is a girl boss character the deeper you go into the game, but I mean, it's just boring. And like, I barely remember anything about it because this game sucks. It just sucks. What the frick? Oh, frick. So anyways, man, that is the worst games of 2024. Now, if I go down the numbering with you, how would I rank it? Well, for one, I have no idea exactly how I went. Oh, and I did mention, so Call of Duty Black Ops 6, that is also multicultural, feminist dog trash. Do not forget that. It has a lot of shills for it too. I don't know why. Man, games are just worse than what they were 15, 20 years ago. And by the way, there was a lot of bad older games, but games just used to be good. Now, there used to be good games. There used to be competition every year. Now everyone's competing to be the worst game of the year. Now we have a lot of games that don't deserve game of the year. But again, everyone's competing to be the worst. So now games like Astrobot get game of the year when this is just an above average game. Astrobot back in like 2010, it would have just been a game that came out and everyone's like, oh, it's good, but you know, there's also Skyrim and there's also this other game and that other game. Like, there used to be competition every year. Now there is barely any competition that now above average games are becoming the game of the year. Like Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is an above average or average game. Depending on certain metrics, the story sucked. But And I'm pretty sure that no one actually went through that game either. I'm pretty sure no one finished it, because you cannot finish that game and tell me it's game of the year. It's an above average game on gameplay, sure, but it's not game of the mother effing year, you freaking clown, you shiltard. Love of God, man. Anyways, you know, man, it's just, games were better once upon a time. Yes, there was a lot of bad older games, but like, so many games had so much more personality. They had so much, their stories were better. Their gameplay was better. You know, freaking feminists, they don't like the Tomb Raider 2013 reboot game. And then after that, they screwed the games over. But Lara Croft is sexy. Yes, her boobs should have been larger. Yes, but she's still hot. Feminists, literally, feminists in sociology books were complaining about Lara Croft from the 2013 game. That's why they reduced her boob size. They rounded out her features. They made her a little bit less attractive and desirable because she was too hot in the 2013 game. By the way, the 2013 game was absolutely fun. I picked it up this year, and I didn't finish it because I have so much else I have to play through. But holy crap, tons of fun to play through. Tomb Raider 2013, Lara Croft is absolutely sexy. It was a good game. 2013, the reboot, and of course, again, the feminists, they don't like Lara in that game, but Lara is actually a woman in that game. She's anxious, she's a very effeminate character. I really like her. That's all I have to say about that. Now, of course, we're not done here in this video, but oh my gosh, I really... So listen, let me talk about some other games as some special mentions before we go through the ranking. I would say at the top of the worst games of this year, it has to be somewhere around Dragon Age the Veilguard. That game was so bad. That has to be the... Whoa. Okay, that has to be one of the worst games of the year. I'm going to say it's tied, though, with Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. That game killed off Batman. It is absolutely all about feminism, worshiping women. Oh my gosh, the boss fights were terrible. The Batman boss fight was terrible. The characters are terrible. The writing is terrible. They got rid of Paul Dini. What the F is wrong with you? Rocksteady is a dead company. They ruined The Flash. They ruined Superman. Superman was barely given much of a character throughout the game. How they treated Brainiac, what the F. How they treated Lex Luthor, what the F. The way they killed off certain characters, what the F. Deborah Wilson is in the game, what the F. Harley Quinn is a lesbian feminist, what the F. Harley Quinn is not Harley, screw you. Harley Quinn is not Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad. Love of God, bro. Harley Quinn was an amazing character written by Paul Dini in Arkham Asylum in Arkham City. She was done right. She was effeminate. She was crazy. She was the girlfriend of Joker. And then they effed her up, man. And she was sexy. She was hot. And then they tried to fix Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. That game has a special place. I hate the gameplay of Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. It was such a pain to play through. It's one of those games, it looks fun to play because there's so much going on. There's a bunch of colors everywhere. It's a game that can fool you. If you're watching it, you're like, well, maybe it's fun. I don't know. It doesn't look like it's that terrible. No, when you're playing it, it's an absolute chore. The game sucks. It does not have a proper melee button. The game sucks to play. I hated that game. They made Joker gay in the update, and I could not pick up the other updates that they added more DLC to the game. I could not do it. I could not do it. Screw that game. Terrible end game, terrible loot. They made Poison Ivy an ugly child. No, Poison Ivy is a sexy, I'll call her bombacious female woman, okay? She's supposed to be hot and sexy. Screw you. I mean, I'm so glad that Catwoman never showed up for this game because they would have made her a Karen and ugly. These women were sexy in the Arkham games, and then they uglified them in Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, because screw beautiful women, screw women who look like women. Women need to look obese, they need to look ugly, they need to look like minorities. Screw you. Love of God. Poison Ivy is a white woman who is sexy and hot. She's not an ugly child. Catwoman, thank God she didn't end up in the game. Harley Quinn is also a bombshell. What the frick? Screw you. They made her ugly. They made Joker freaking scrawny and gay. They basically made him a freaking liberal with the F. Oh, and then they had the freaking Rainbow Mafia flag posted up every time you leave the headquarters of the game. So you have to see all what it says is I think it's something like all heroes are welcome or whatever. Everyone's a hero. Screw you and your freaking propaganda dog crap, you freaking Satanists. You know, do not forget that the Rainbow Mafia is absolute Satanism. It has destroyed every civilization throughout history has been destroyed by the Rainbow Mafia. There's a reason why Sodom and Gomorrah happened. This is against God. Screw you, you Satanists. You are against God. You worship Satan. You worship false idols. You worship women, and you worship degeneracy. Go F yourself, you pieces of absolute filth. Anyway, so Dragon Age, the Veilguard, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, those for me tie out as the worst games of the year. I think right beneath that is probably Dustborn. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Oh, dude, I can't give you a ranking. I cannot give you a ranking. I mean, listen, I'm trying to give you a ranking, but no. Diablo 4 was absolute dog trash. Feminist dog trash. I have a special hatred for that freaking story. And what they did to Donut and how Donut died. What the frick? That's what I call them, Donut. All of the men are cucked. All of the men die to stupid causes. The women are just freaking feminist girl bosses. I don't know, man. Diablo 4, I have a very special hatred for that game. So you know what? I'm just going to say a bunch of games I hated this year because they're all at the... I'm going to share with you the games at the #1 spot for me because there's no #1, 2, 3. I can't give you that. So here's the #1 placements for the games that I hated this year. We have Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. We have Dragon Age, the Veilguard. We have Diablo 4. We have Jedi Survivor, absolute dog trash filth. We have Star Wars Outlaws. We have... that was a terrible game. I really hated Unknown 9 Awakening, but that game was it was woke boring, so... And we already talked about Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. That game was just boring woke. So that can go to the #2 placement. So again, we're going through #1 here. So again, Star Wars Outlaws, I will put that because it's Star Wars. It's #1. Screw you and your feminist horse trash. Absolute dog water nonsense. My gosh, I can't believe that was made as a game. I'm trying to look through. And by the way, this is not it. I have some other games to mention here. I hated The Quarry. That is #1 for me as well. The Quarry, the casting of Frank Stone, stupid characters, stupid stories, absolute dog trash filth. Man, I'm trying to go through here. I'm trying to see, by the way, did I forget any games? Let me look it up here because there's some games I have not released the reviews yet for. We have... Okay, I'm trying to see if I forgot anything. I didn't. Okay, so yeah, I already mentioned Jedi Survivor. Now, I have a very special mention at the end of this video, and that is the first Descendant. The first Descendant was an absolutely trashy game to play. It has beautiful women. I love that about the game, but the gameplay design is absolutely terrible. We're going to talk about that in a second here, okay? We're not going to talk about it just yet. But right now, I just got to share with you what sits at the #1 placement of the worst games of the year. Okay, so yeah, we went through literally like every single game. So, okay, so let's just go through the games that I regard as the absolute dog trash filth. So we went through a few of them. So #1 placement, we already went through the Jedi games, the Star Wars games. Screw those games, absolute filth. Tales of Arise definitely hits into the number 2 placement. Number 3, it does a couple of things right. Beautiful women, sexy women, but it doesn't have a good story. And it just meant nothing to me in the end. I hated the writing. I hated the writing style. So that sits at a number 3 placement for me. But, I mean, what? I'm looking through. I'm trying to see here. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I was neutral on it. It was definitely gay at certain places, so maybe that hits a number 4 placement for me in the worst games of this year. Again, there's a lot of things I love about it. I love Scarlet and I love Tifa. They're freaking busty and hot. However, again, they push a lot of homosexuality with Sephiroth and Cloud and some other characters. And then the freaking live stream stuff, which is basically the multiverse. Screw yourself. It's so lame and gay the way that they executed the end of the game. Again, there's elements I love about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So it sits at number 4 for me. It's a game that didn't do terribly this year, but it definitely did some things wrong. So it's a game that I'm very neutral on. Again, the games I really hate this year are number 1. The games that I mostly hated, but it's like they fit into the category of boring, woke. They're forgettable. I'm gonna forget about it. Whatever. Move on. These games are failures in of themselves. They're gonna hit the number 2 spot. The number 3 spot, again, are games that did a couple things wrong, a little bit woke, but ultimately they had a couple things that redeemed themselves, but nothing enough to make you want to buy the game. And then again, the number 4 spot are games that I'm neutral about. They weren't really done that well, but well, no, I'm neutral about them, where there's things I might love about the game, right? But at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that they didn't knock out of the park, or it was just terrible, or whatever, you know, it's just forgettable, whatever. So, you know, Stellar Blade for me, there's elements I am neutral about, but that was a good game regardless. A lot of things they did right. They didn't push homosexuality or anything. The story was just forgettable. That's it, but it's not a bad game. So I just have to say that the story was forgettable. That's all I have to say there. But, you know, let me look at this. I'm looking at, I need to go find my freaking playlist that has all of the, so number 1 spot. So the number 2 spot for sure is Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. That was a trashy game, but I forgot about it. Everyone forgot about it. It was just such dog trash though. Now people cared about that game for some reason. That was weird. But anyways, outside of that, Skull and Bones, I hated playing that game. That definitely hits the number 1 spot. Persona 5 Tactica, that is a special form of hatred I have for the writing of the game, but let's just put it into number 2 because I forgot about it to begin with. So Starfield, that hits the number 1 spot. I loathe and despise that game. Pal World is a game that I forgot about. I don't really care about it. It would be number 2, but because people shilled for it so hard, that's in my number 1 spot, because it also pushes feminism, because women can be warriors too and all that nonsense. Screw you. So Pal World is in my number 1 spot, even though it should be at number 2, or even maybe number 3 because it's so forgettable, but no, number 1 because screw you, shills, you mother effing losers. Then we have Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That for me hits the number 2 or number 3 spot. You know, it does a couple things wrong, but the game's just such a bloated mess. I hate the game. It wastes your time. You know what? Number 2 spot, just for the gameplay design, the feminism. Screw that game, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. If I didn't hate those elements so much, it would just be a boring, bland game. It would be a number 3. It's number 2 though. Remnant 2 is a number 1 spot for me. Screw the freaking migraines Jesus character, that freaking Asian chick who's basically Jesus in the game. By the way, this is not a one-off. This is an absolute trope for female writers, where we make women a stand-in for a Jesus-like archetype or persona. So anyways, Remnant 2, absolute feminist dog trash, horse filth. Screw that game. That is in the number 1 spot. I hated Remnant 2. I hated most of the DLC. Screw that game. I cannot believe I spent money on it. screw my life. It's one of those games that made me wake up and say, okay, I need to stop wasting money on these games. And I did. Some of these games made me wake up to how I play games, and now, dude, I barely pick up a lot of these trash games, and I'm glad I don't really pick them up anymore, and I don't waste my time anymore. Dead Island 2 is a game that I think it hits the number 2 spot for me. There's woke elements about it, ugly female characters, but you know, there's it's just boring. It just sucks. Do not pick it up. But it hits the number 2 spot because it's not so offensive like Dragon Age the Veilguard that I absolutely despise it. Now, I do despise the game. It's just that, again, number 2 spot. So that hits number 2 for me. We've got, where's the other game? I'm forgetting where it is. I played Dune Spice Wars. We ready? That's a special mention. I don't have to say anything on that. So Diablo 4, that's a number 1 spot, of course, as I said. That woke me up, especially. It made me change a lot of things where I'm like, okay, I am done spending time with these games that just want to waste your time. I'm done, moving on. And I did it, and I saved a lot of time. Ever since just that realization, I don't pick up games like Diablo 4 anymore. Ever since then, I just stopped picking up games. In the number 2 spot is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. That's a game where I hate a lot of things about it, but it's also just boring woke. So whatever, moving on. Dragon's Dogma 2, that could be a number 2 or a number 3 spot for me. So forgettable. They pushed black people into Anglo-Saxon demographics. Screw you for that. And that was, of course, ESG. But outside of that, man, it's just a forgettable game. So maybe it's a number 3 for me. Honestly, it's not super offensive, but you know, screw it nonetheless. Again, I have to say this one more time. Star Wars Outlaws and Jedi Survivor, number 1 spot. Screw those 2 games. Man, those games piss me off. And you know what? Screw it, bro. The Thrawn trilogy is in the number 1 spot of the most hated games of this year. Even though it's a book series, screw that series. Freaking Thrawn is a joke. Everyone acts like he's a great character. Screw you. The way they treat Han, Luke, and Leia, Mara Jade, these characters suck. And then there's the other characters too. Screw the Thrawn trilogy. It made its way. It's such a trashy book series. I made it. It's incorporated. You know what? It's up there. It's up there with Jedi Survivor and Star Wars Outlaws. Not even that. Mother effing Dragon Age the Veilguard. Mother effing Dustborn. Alright? It is up there with these games. Well, didn't I say that Dustborn's number 2? I mean, Dustborn should... It's just... Anyways, I mean, that game... screw that game. Whatever. Anyways, it's up there, though, with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. It is up there with Dragon Age the Veilguard. I hate the Thrawn trilogy. I hate it because... Listen... It should not be at number 1. It should not even be in the worst games of 2024. But because there's so many shills for it, and because it is such a desecration upon Star Wars, it made its way into the worst games of 2024. Screw you, you mother effing shills. And on top of that, it's worse than Dragon Age the Veilguard. It is worse than Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, okay? It is worse than all these games. And why? Because the mother effing shills that support this trash, this is proto-woke nonsense. You support that men and women are the same, that Mara Jade is Luke Skywalker. You think they're equal. You think that Leia is equal to Han Solo. This is why we get these woke games to begin with. This is proto-woke nonsense. It came out 25 years ago or whatever, and you mother effers, you still shill for it to this day. So you know what? At the number 1 spot is the Thrawn effing trilogy. What should be at the number one spot is Dragon Age the Veil. So you know what? At the king of all wokeness is the Thrawn trilogy. Go screw yourself, you freaking woke tards. You suck. You love dog filth being shoveled into your mouth. Anyways. So the Thrawn trilogy has a special place. It is the king of this entire freaking worst games of 2024. It is at the top. All right, and then there's everything else, right? So in the actual number 1 spot is, of course, Dragon Age the Veilguard, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, the Star Wars games that I mentioned, and of course, you know what? Special mention, the Fallout television show, where literally YouTube itself as a platform was running cover fire for that show. Literally, they were turning off the comments on my second video to do damage. Bro, to do damage control, they were literally shutting off the comments. I was literally, on the day I released, and I was getting a bunch of views on that video, on the day I released that mother effing video, guess what happened? The comments were being turned off, and I was turning it on, and it was being turned off. I turned it on, turned off. So I think there was a rogue employee. They were turning off the comments actively, and then I had to be the one turning it on actively. It stopped once the video on the Fallout television show, once we were past the I think it was the main day, the day where I was getting the majority of the views. Then it stopped all the shenanigans. But it was on that day where I was getting majority of the traffic on that video. The mother effing, some rogue YouTube employee, they were turning off the comments. Some other weird stuff was going on. That was a weird time for the channel. But yeah, screw that television show. Just a special mention. Screw that television show. Outside of that, yeah, so okay. God of War Ragnarok. Again, we made a special mention of that. I made a video on it because I saw that game so many times over, and I did watch it be played through this year, by the way, again. Don't ask me why. There's a reason why. Anyways, that game deserves to be in the #1 spot as well for the worst games of 2024. Then we've got, I already mentioned Remnant 2, the Acolyte television show. I'm just gonna say it, just #1 spot, just because I know it's not games. I don't care. Screw that game. Assassin's Creed Shadows was supposed to come out this year. It didn't. It got delayed. So screw that game. That is also in the #1 spot. Screw you. Should be a Japanese dude as the main character. Senua Saga Hellblade 2, I hated that game. I could not stand it, the wokeness and the feminism, but that does hit the #2 spot because it's just a forgettable game. Again, it's woke, it's dog trash, it is offensive for what it is, but however, you know, it's just not as bad as the other ones that I absolutely despise. Again, the #1 spot, games I absolutely despise. These are games that have a special place in the hatred of my soul. The #2 spot is where these are games that I just, you know, I hated them. I could not stand them. However, I forgot about them because they're so freaking stupid and useless and meaningless. Anyways, moving on. Immortals of Avium, that hits the #1 spot. Screw that game. I did play Atlas Fallen, by the way, this year. That was a trash game. I didn't even remember to mention it here. You know what, though? Put it in the #2. It's slightly woke. Or put it in #3. It's like, man, it just doesn't matter. It's a, you know what, #2. It's a trash game altogether. I don't remember it, but yeah, it's one of those. Obviously, there's worse games in it. Well, no, it's a really bad game. So anyways, #2, just a bad game. It's a bad game. It's not fun. Terrible story, sucks, and also DEI nonsense in it as well. Then we have, what else do we have here? Black Ops 6, the campaign. Screw that campaign. That either hits the #1 or #2 spot for me. Ooh. What they do to certain characters, how they push feminism. Yeah, I'm putting that in #1. I hate that game. I do. And we are going to talk about First Descendant in a second here. Where would I rank First Descendant? The First Descendant is in either #3 or #4 slot for me. You know what, let's put it in #4. It doesn't really push any feminism exactly, any multiculturalism. However, although recently they released a black character, which is not necessary, but that shows that ESG is starting to make a work on them. So I'm going to put it in #4, and it's just because of the gameplay of First Descendant. Listen, the women are sexy. I love the women. I love the outfits in the game. The outfits are great. The women are great. The character models are great. But the writing for the story is dog trash terrible. I don't know what the story's about. I hated the story as I went through the entirety of the game. And then the gameplay was absolutely dog trash. The gameplay loop is the biggest problem with the game, but honestly, the way that the characters operate, they feel a little bit static, and it feels like they could be a little bit more fluid to use. They're not terrible, so like the characters are they're okay, but the gameplay loop is the greatest sin of the first Descendant. It is made to waste your time. I wanted to love the game, so listen, it hits the number 4 slot. I wanted to love it. I did, but I could not love it. I'm gonna mention a few more things about it after we go through this list here. So let's just keep on going. So we talked about a lot of these games. Okay, Still Wakes the Deep. That is such a terrible game, but that hits the number 2 slot because I just completely forgot about it. So moving on. Then we have, we already talked about Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. That was a number 2 for me, for sure, because that is so forgettable, but it was absolute woke dog crap. I hated it. What else? Yeah, we already mentioned Star Wars Outlaws. What else? I'm forgetting something here that I absolutely hate. Where is it? Oh man, the Arcane Season 2 trailer. I just special mention. Screw that freaking trash. But anyways, Valorant, that hits the number 3 slot. I'm okay with the game. It's a little bit woke, some dog crap in there, so it's in the number 3 slot with Tales of Arise. So I didn't really like Valorant too much, but it didn't screw up too much. But I do have to say that. Again, The Quarry, I hate that game. I hate the story. That hits the number 1 spot for me. The casting of Frank Stone, that hits the number 1 spot for me. Silent Hill 2, that hits the number 2 slot, or maybe number 3. Maybe it's number 3. I mean, what they did to Mary and Mangela, ooh, that's rough. And also, I don't like nihilism at all. I cannot stand it. So maybe that's close to hitting the number 2 slot for me. I don't know. Let's move on from that. Anyway, Silent Hill 2, that's either number 2 or 3. I can't make up my mind on that one. Then we got, what else? I mentioned MechWarrior 5 Clans. That one hits the number 2. Sorry, no, that hits number 1. That hits number 1 because of the shills. You know, that would... Listen, it's a mostly acceptable game. Pushes a lot of multicultural... I forgot to mention this. Bro, when it comes down to bioengineering, when it comes down to eugenics, and that's what it is, if you're going to make the perfect human being, why would you ever bioengineer women to have the effectiveness of men? You want to bioengineer women for beauty, for reproduction, because there's no world where through eugenics you would create the perfect man and woman and that they are equally perfect to one another. No, then everyone's a man. No, if you're going to create the perfect functional human being, it's a man. Eugenics creates the perfect warrior through men, not women. It will never be women. These retards, though, these shills, they believe that women can be bioengineered to be just as functionally perfect as men. No, you're stupid and retarded. Enough. Women, if they're bioengineered eugenics, they would be engineered for beauty as well as health. Okay? Men are built for performance. They are built for muscularity, whatnot. So the perfect warriors would be men. So anyways, my number 1 slot, even though otherwise it would be a game that I would totally forget. But because there were so many shills, I could not believe it. And yes, because they push feminism and multiculturalism so hard through the game, it's in the number 1 slot for me, absolutely. There can be, again, without the shills, maybe it's in the number 2, but that game has a special hatred in my soul. I hate MechWarrior 5 Clans. I will remember it forever with, well, you know, maybe not forever, but you know what I mean. Screw that game. MechWarrior 5 Clans was absolute dog filth. Number 1 slot, without a doubt. Screw that game. Absolutely screw it. It is up there with freaking Dragon Age the Veilguard, the freaking cocks. Because again, these freaking losers, they think that men and women are equal, that even through eugenics, they would be equal. No, you're a freaking clown. Get used to it. Love of God. Okay, and what else? What else is the worst game? So I said Still Wakes the Deep. I think I forgot a game here. I mean, I said Casting of Frank Stone. Yeah, it does. Oh, Unknown 9 Awakening. Let's not forget that. That one hits the number, for me, it's the number one. What they do, how they basically take Nathan Drake and Sullivan, and they make it two women, two diverse women. It is such an offense onto one of my favorite game franchises, which is, and one of my favorite characters, which is Nathan Drake in Uncharted. I love the story of Uncharted 3 most specifically. Screw you for trying to make women Nathan Drake and Sullivan, okay? Both of those two characters, you know, solely. Okay, screw you for that. Screw you for making a woke version of it. Screw you, Sweet Baby Inc. as well, by the way. They're the ones that made the game. Screw yourself. That hits the number one spot for me, even though everyone forgot about it. I forgot about it. But guess what? That game is just, it's so offensive to the Uncharted series. So screw it. Absolutely screw it. Yeah, so that hits the number one, even though otherwise it would be number two. So I think that hits it for me, unless there's something I'm forgetting here. I'm checking through right now as we speak. I'm checking through. Man, I've done a lot of videos on a lot of other things recently. I have a sense that the next year here, we're going to have a lot of crazy bad games for this upcoming year. But, you know, that's pretty much it. I could also, let's do mention that Marvel Rivals has a little bit of wokeness in it, but not too much. That hits like the number 5 slot for the wokeness in Marvel Rivals, but I put that in the best games of this year. It's a fun game, but it does have wokeness. So anyways, that is the end of it for me. I think that's it. That's everything I experienced this year. You know what? We're just going to double check. Oh, and let's mention, okay, First Descendant. Listen, man, trashy story. I do not remember any of the characters. The writing's terrible. The story means absolutely nothing. It is so terribly written, the gameplay loop is made to waste your time and waste your life because you have nothing else going on. Nothing better going on. Listen, I love the beautiful women. I want to give the game a 10 out of 10 on the women scale. Outside of that, and the character models and the outfits, the women are freaking sexy. I want to freaking inseminate all of them. However, the issue is that the game sucks as a game. It's not fun as a game. And Warframe, based on gameplay, is better. Now that game is woke. Ugly women everywhere. But, you know, the Lotus, though, she used to be hot. But, again, everything else after that is just a bunch of diversity hires and whatnot. Screw Warframe. It's so woke. And screw the developers. You know, they made the freaking the community manager chick. They made her a creative director now. Oh man, Warframe is so done, bro. And I guess I will make special mention of Aliens Dark Descent. That hits the number 4 slot for me just based on story. The feminism and the multiculturalism in that game, screw that game. Now the gameplay, it's fine. However, based on wokeness, screw Aliens Dark Descent. Outside of this, I also played Genshin Impact this year. I will just tell you, terrible game. It's just empty open world, nothing to do. Sure has sexy women. It has a story that means absolutely nothing though. So I don't know, maybe that's in the number 4 slot. Yeah, it's in number 4 or number 5 with First Descendant. Listen, it's not like a terrible game, but it's just not a game that's worth your time. So Genshin Impact definitely hits the number 5 slot with First Descendant. Unless I'm like stretching it out, maybe it's number 4, but number 4, what did I put in number 4 again? There were some games that were just slightly, maybe it's number 4. I don't know what the distinction between number 4 and 5 are right now, but I don't care. Moving on. So I'm looking through, I did play Nier Replicant this year, and that was a decent game. Nothing to really say there. I have not finished it yet. I did play Riders Republic, and that was an okay game. Really woke, though. Multiculturalism everywhere. I hate that about the game, but I'm not going to talk about it. I don't care. What's another game? Yep, Atlas Fallen. That was definitely a bad game. That is such a bad game, man. It should either be number 1 or number 2. It's just so bad, but it's not. I don't know about the wokeness. Man, that was a bad game, though. Just the game was bad. Anyways, moving on. Oh, I played the Control. I played Control this year. I hated that game. Holy effing crap. That hits for me number 2. It's just boring, woke. Female protagonist, dog trash game. Screw that game. I did not like it. And there's shills for that game too, but I never made a video on that and I don't really care to, but it did get me on a long rant about gaming and why are these games so boring and feminist? Screw these games. Then we have Callisto Protocol. I also played that game. Nihilistic, dog trash. I hated Callisto Protocol, but that hits for me the number 2 slot. It's just boring, but I hate that game. It's nihilistic. It's boring. Screw that game. Then we have, there's another one in here. I did play X Defiance, and I did not really enjoy that. That is also woke, so that hits for me. It's multiculturalism, a little bit of feminism, so that hits the number 2 slot. I did not really enjoy the game, but I did forget about it. We did play Orcs Must Die 3. We did play that. It's a little bit woke on the feminist and multicultural scale with the 2 main characters. And the writing was okay, but they replaced 2 male characters that were way more interesting to listen to, and they replaced them with a woman who is maybe Hispanic or white, who knows, and then a black male. Okay, so screw that game. It was okay to play, but so you know what, I'm gonna put it in the number 3 slot, but it definitely gets certain things wrong, definitely some things woke. Holy crap, I played Gotham Knights this year. I'm not gonna talk about it. Listen, what they do to these characters, Batgirl, the Robins, Red Hood, what the effing crap, bro. That is in the number 1 slot. I hated that game. I had to force myself to play it for 2 hours. I hate that game. I hate the characters. I remember when it came out. Dog water horse crap. Woke, by the way. Women in the roles of men. So anyways, that is in the number 1 slot. Screw Gotham Knights. Again, Immortals of Avium. That hits the number 1 slot. Screw that game. I hated it. And that is it. That is it. So I went through some of the things that I forgot about, and that is literally all I have to go through here. So we'll see what happens for the next year. We're going to see what happens for 2025. I know that a lot of bad games are definitely in store to come out. I'm waiting for some good games to come out for once in my freaking existence. What the F? But we'll see. I mean, I have no idea what's going on here, but you know, we're not getting good games, sadly. Literally, dude, like the majority of games that came out this year are just dog trash. And of course, I played a lot of games from 2021, 2022, 2023, and there's a lot of those games that were trash that I played this year. So let's see what happens for 2025, but you know, we barely got any good games. There are games I enjoyed playing, and I shared that in my best games of 2024. But right now, who knows what the frick 2025 is going to be. I mean, I'm hoping we get more sexy women in gaming. I hope that we eradicate these woke games with these woke characters. We need to eradicate all this nonsense. I hate this frickin' dog trash. And without further ado, we're done here. Let's get into the next video. Oh, holy crap. Before we leave, what the F? Do not forget. I can't believe I forgot. The next video is going to be what are the best breasts, because no one else did it, especially during the Game Awards. What the F? So I'm going to be doing a video. It's going to be shorter. The best breasts of 2024. Yes, that's going to include Tifa, Scarlet, Eve from Stellar Blade, and Tacky from Stellar Blade. I'm gonna go through the list. It's gonna include some of the breasts that I played through this year, but of course I'm going to make that a video because no one else is, so I might as well, because we need to celebrate women who are absolutely sexy and absolute bombshells, because screw ugly women and screw ugly women placed into gaming. Love of God.